You spend, 40 hours a week optimizing your career, and maybe another 10 managing your investments. So why do you let the vehicle carrying you through all of it just run entirely on blind luck until the wheels fall off?
It is pretty wild when you actually think about it.
Right. Well, welcome to today's deep dive. We are unpacking an August 2026 newsletter by Dr. S.P. Chan to fundamentally redefine what self-care actually means. The mission today is shifting your mindset from a passive passenger in the healthcare system to the active CEO of your own body.
Because traditionally, our interaction with healthcare is entirely reactive. We just wait for a catastrophic failure.
Like Dr. Chan's opening example in the newsletter.
Yeah, exactly. The office worker who just brushes off fatigue and back pain until he suddenly ends up in the emergency room. But the World Health Organization defines self-care completely differently. It is not a reaction to sickness or, a passive spa day.
Right, it's not just taking a bubble bath.
Exactly. It is the active daily stewardship required to prevent disease from taking root in the first place.
Treating your doctor as the absolute boss of your body is just such an outdated model. In a corporate structure, you wouldn't wait for your company to hit total bankruptcy before consulting a financial advisor.
No, you definitely wouldn't.
So you, as the CEO of your health, should be hiring doctors as your consultants. And to make executive decisions, well, you need raw data.
And to acquire that data, Dr. Chan introduces a really specific operational strategy. He calls it test, track, thrive.
Okay, but we already know what a smartwatch or a continuous glucose monitor is, right?
Right, but the real shift here is in how we actually utilize them. Test is about establishing baseline metrics to transition from subjective feelings to objective reality. Using validated tools, like the DAS psychological scale for stress, forces us to quantify symptoms that usually remain really vague and unhelpful.
I have to push back on this, though. If I am obsessively tracking my cortisol levels or my sleep phases every single morning, doesn't hyperfixating on that data biologically trigger the exact anxiety I am trying to avoid?
That is a fair point, but consider the underlying mechanism of anxiety. It thrives in ambiguity.
Okay, how so?
Well, when you just feel terrible, the brain naturally spins out worst-case scenarios, which physically spikes your cortisol. Tracking neutralizes that physiological response by replacing the unknown with a specific manageable data point.
So it grounds you.
Exactly. Think of a pilot flying a plane. When they hit a storm and lose visibility, relying on their panicked intuition is deadly. They have to trust the instruments on the dashboard.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right. Objective tracking allows you to transition into the thrive phase. You make targeted lifestyle adjustments based on the dials rather than panicking over the weather.
So the instruments tell you the plane is diving, but as the CEO, you still need a competent crew to help correct the course. Dr. Chan maps out a 3-tiered infrastructure for this, starting with personal literacy.
Yeah, which is basically the critical skill of filtering out the noise. Dodging fake supplement ads and pseudoscience so you can clearly articulate actionable data to those medical consultants we mentioned.
But a CEO doesn't operate in a vacuum, which means that personal literacy must scale up to the second tier, which is family empowerment.
The core mechanism here is behavioral contagion. When you normalize taking your blood pressure at the kitchen table or cooking high-fiber meals, you alter the environmental defaults for your entire family.
Oh, wow. So you are effectively removing the friction of making healthy choices for your aging parents or your kids.
Exactly. And if your family network is your immediate supply chain, the local community is your regulatory environment. You cannot sustain good habits if the surrounding infrastructure doesn't actually support them.
Right. So engaging with local resources like district health centers or free public health lectures really reinforces that internal family culture on a macro level.
And that macro level determines our collective survival. A society simply cannot rely on acute emergency room beds as its primary health strategy.
It's just not sustainable.
No, not at all. When communities engage in preventative care together, it mathematically reduces the strain on the medical system, which creates faster, better outcomes for everybody.
So taking charge of those metrics isn't a selfish obsession. It is a foundational act of community responsibility that builds a truly autonomous life. You are literally stabilizing the system by managing your own dashboard.
Which brings us to a final, somewhat uncomfortable question for the listener.
Oh, lay it on us.
If Dr. Chan is right, and the mechanism of behavioral contagion means our health habits are constantly influencing our family network.
Yeah.
What unspoken health lessons are you accidentally passing on to the people around you right now?
That is heavy. Are you modeling the behavior of a proactive CEO, or are you flying blind and hoping for the best? Take charge of your instruments, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.